Right, well, I have to say, it's always a pleasure to talk to this man. Dan, thank you very much indeed for joining us this very special evening. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a wonderful evening, nice temperature, and some amazing cars.
Just a stonk load of car porn, man. That seems to happen every time we see you.
I think that is, I don't know if there's car porn music, but if there was, I would want it following me around.
I'm imagining it has to be a bit more funkier than just the typical jazz stuff, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Maybe a little bit of blues riff, a little bit of a metallic guitar sound in there.
Yeah, I think the death metal would help it out. Maybe some Swedish death metal.
Thank you, sir.
More like car porn to me, but...
Forza 5 menu screen right there, right?
I don't know if we're going there.
Okay. Obviously enough, we're here to talk about Forza 5, but I'd like to sort of start by sort of asking, what have you been up to since last we saw you? I mean, has it been basically from Forza straight into Forza 5?
Well, honestly, we've got both Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport. So ever since we shipped Forza Motorsport 4, the Turn 10 team has been hard at work on Forza 5. But even before we shipped Forza 4, we'd already started consulting with the advanced team working on Xbox One on how to organize the chipset, how to architect it, how the driver should work, and how we're connected to the cloud and things that we would like to do in our next game. That allowed us to get a leg up on the type of game we wanted to build. And Forza 5 is exactly that game. I mean, it's incredible. 1080p, 60 frames per second. We're doing things in physics now that weren't possible on the last generation, and nobody else is doing because they're not committed to finding the right partners and do that cutting edge science.
With finding out all that stuff about Xbox One, did that inform what Forza 5 was going to be? I mean, did you guys have a sort of like whiteboard with a few ideas, heard what Xbox One had and went, right, cling it, this is what we're going to go for?
Well, honestly, there were two ideas that we knew from years ago that we wanted to do, and it informed the platform they built. So it was a two-way street. They told us what they were building, but also we said, this is a game we want to build, and they architected the platform to help us out there. There were two features in particular. One was materials. We wanted physically based materials, and that's it's similar to like subsurface scattering you've heard talked about on skins. Yeah. We believe that cars have an uncanny valley the same way people do. That there's imperfections in every single car, and to make a car look real, you have to make it look less perfect than we did in Forza 4. So those imperfections are in the paint, they're the scratches on the rotors, they're the milling on the, and that's all materials. So the Xbox One does a fantastic job of that, and then it's also connected, and that allows us to deliver Drivatar. Now, in 2005, we shipped Drivatar on the original Xbox, the original Forza Motorsport, way ahead of its time. Trademarked, learning Bayesian machine learning AI, was very cool. And now it returns, but it's a totally different system, 100% different. It just shares the name. Now it's more related to big data or search like Bing than it is to actual AI, because it learns how to learn. It learns from the community. We don't teach it things. It's not like it has a finite number of parameters. It's infinite. It's powered by the cloud, and it just thinks about driving and gets better.
Drivatar as a name. Did you guys spitball some other concerns?
Well, we've had it for a long time, so let's just say it fits like a glove. Maybe we're pear-shaped people, and so it fits us well. I don't know.
But no, it's such a fantastic concept, the idea. It's not AI anymore, you're ex-human opponents. Now, what I thought was interesting was during the presentation, during the Microsoft conference, you did see people stuff up on the road. There weren't perfect racing lines or anything like that. I'm just wondering, if you're drawing those people in, I mean, how do you guys make sure that the playing experience for the individual player is tiered to the play style that they want, not necessarily being involved with people that don't know left from right?
So the great thing about Drivatar system is it has difficulty settings or profiles. So if you're a really skilled racer, you can turn it all the way up, and it's going to pull from the most skilled racers in the entire world, and those guys are going to be very clean. If you're not a very skilled racer, pull from the bottom end. But the truth is, most people are right in the middle. And in the middle, you're going to have a blend of somewhat dirty drivers, somewhat clean, but they're like you because there's so many profiles. Think millions and millions of these profiles. What that means is people near you are actually very similar in style. Usually people think about their friends, and their friends actually aren't they're very different in style. When you look at a bigger population, they're much more similar.
Okay, with pulling that data and profiles and stuff like that, so essentially, does that open up the leaderboards, whereas before in Xbox 360, we had, friends lists and everything like that? Effectively, are you racing against the world, so when you pull in a race of, say, 10 different racers from across the world, it will stack up your stats against them?
Well, it's not really stat-based. It really is, we look at how successful you are and how successful they are, and the cloud is able to determine how good a Drivatar is and weigh it against you. So we'll pull in people that are very similar in your profile, and we will pull in your friends and family. So the racing is just very different. It's much more like multiplayer. You don't tend to have really vindictive people, though, because usually when you're actually watching how they train over a long period of racing, career, multiplayer, all of their races, they stabilize out. I know people are always imagining, like, oh, what about people driving backwards? Yeah. They don't play backwards for 40 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
So what they're imagining is this weird anomaly and saying, what if that anomaly became everything? It's like, that's dumb. We're not going to do that. People race naturally, and when they race naturally, the Drivatar learns their natural behavior. And they may be a little bit rough, and they may be a little bit clean, but as we've experienced in the studio, and we've got griefers in the studio, it's still lively, because when they go for you, you just get out of the way and they crash and you go past them.
It's basically still safe driving, even though it is racing, though, yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay. And sort of wrapping up then, where are you guys now? What have you guys got left to do before launch?
Oh, we're still in pre-beta. We got so much to do. A lot of the stuff we're doing in physics right now, we're actually still getting the data. We're still doing the testing with CalSpan. So that stuff's not all into the game. We do have a new kinematic model. It's already in for open wheel for the suspension. Boy, I mean, I can't even, there's so much we're still doing. The team is right in the thick of it.
Well, I know, obviously, with time pressing, we'll let you get back. So thank you very much indeed for talking to us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.